Hello friends, neighbors, John Lewis neighbor here. Welcome down to the Nook. It's Saturday and we're gonna shoot a little bourbon. A viewer said the other day, John, you really haven't talked bourbon in a while. You've been doing a ton of scotch and some Canadian. That's good stuff. And they're right. So I thought I'd start with a bottle that may not stick around much. So this is actually one of Rabbit Hole's releases. I know Rabbit Hole's a pretty new distillery in Kentucky, but they've been putting out some stuff, and I've done their Cave Hill, their 4-grain, and then their Derringer, that PX finished wheater. And this is their high rye, like about 25% malted rye. And then because it is the first time we're shooting in the redesigned Nook, it's not quite done yet. Like the famous barrel head that my wife got commissioned for me is not hanging, or the barrel head that my friend made for me. So we'll get that done, but I really want to shoot. And it is Saturday, and I said welcome to it, but I'm going to put this out Sunday morning. Anyways, as a toast to the almost done Nook, and I needed to find something in contrast to this Heigold. I've got a Ryan Engen pick. This is the foolproof Ryan Engen pick of 2024. So if you've got any high rye bourbon, maybe the Heigold would be great. If not, 1792, but foolproof, something with a lot of kick to it. Pour it. Come on, Mac. We'll talk whiskey together. 3, 4. Well, thanks for coming back. As I said, we're going to kind of toast the new Nook. It's not quite done. It's not quite done. And I'm going to it'll probably spend months figuring out lighting, whatever, because things are different over here. And certainly the poster from Bruichladdich is not going to stick around, but I thought it was fun to kind of, maybe where the barrelhead's going to go. So coming here, you can probably turn in like, hey, I want to hear about Heigold. Well, this is, Heigold from Rabbit Hole Distillery. Again, pretty new out of Kentucky. This particular release, as I understand it, is their high rye, and it's a malted rye. So they use like 70 corn, 25 malted rye, and must be 5% malted barley. It's a little bit stronger. That's why I quickly tried to take a look at it, because I was going to say 47. Yeah, 47 and a half. So it's got a little more than just off the floor of 45%. And Rabbit Hole is pretty new. It's it is a newer distillery, but they're putting out lots of stuff, and I've enjoyed the 4-grain Cave Hill, and I like the PX finished wheater Derringer actually quite a bit. I like that one a lot. It came out too expensive. This was a good deal. I bought it a while ago, and then I drank it down and just sat there. And now when I moved bottles around, I'm like, oh, I haven't talked about this. I should say, you know what? It's non-chill filtered. That's pretty interesting. So the Heigold from Rabbit Hole on the nose. Yeah, it's actually sweet vanilla. Comes up pretty quick, which I'd expect more soft in a wheater or anything like that, but it's pretty sweet. Yeah, it's got 70% corn, so it's got a lot of that corn sweetness, a little buttery, lots of sugar, lots of vanilla. It's just new oak. I believe there's no finishing or extra casking in this one, so I expected the rye spice to show up. Now, malted rye, I find, is always a weird one. I either love it. I've had 100% malted ryes that are amazing, and I've had malted ryes that are just wild. At this point, it's a little more into what I sometimes get with bubblegum, with malted rye, which is a little bit of bubblegum to it, which is interesting. Let's see how it goes in the palate. Hope you got something nice in your glass. Cheers. So the palate does bring out more rye spicing and more peppering and more wood heat and tannins and all those kinds of things that bring it down from the nose, in the sense that the nose for me was really sweet and pushing into artificial. That's what I was trying to get at with the bubblegum. The palate has brought me back into more typical bourbon flavors and more typical high rye bourbon. In fact, I'd like to compare this to something like, I was going to say, like, it's a bit more of a premium product, but like Old Grandad Ball and Bond for me would be actually a natural comparison for this one. It's also a nice high rye for me, similar percentage at 50%. I would love to do that side by side. Let me give it another taste, see what else I can get here. That multi-rye funk is in there for me a little bit. Slightly, like not vegetable, but there's something slightly different about a malted rye than just drier, grassier rye. This isn't that grassy really at all. It's not that vegetable at all. And it's not a rye, it's a bourbon, 70% corn. So really it's corn with a bit of rye flavoring in it at about 25%. But that's pretty high as far as bourbons go. It's staying, sweet, peppery, oaky, hugs lots. I think one of the reasons why I didn't talk to you guys about this release earlier is I wanted it to improve. I actually really wanted to improve. And here we are. It's almost at its journey's end. I got to shoot one of those for you guys. And I'm going to say this one didn't sing for me. I don't know why, but it just didn't give me the character that I want. I'm still feeling like I'm missing it. Like there should be another layer in there that's going to tie it together, and I'm not getting it. It's got a few glimmers of something cool. To me, it didn't come together. And so even though it's designed to be premium, love the bottle, you pay a little more for it, certainly more than Old Grandad. It's like a 3.5 stars, 3.25. Like it's just not that great for me, and I'm disappointed because I've liked some other releases from Rabbit Hole. As I said in the opener, I would like to shoot something nice, as this is the first video in the almost completed redesigned whiskey nook. So I just picked this up. Ryan Engen, I think, is going to be, like Wine and Beyond, is going to be putting out a number of barrel picks. In fact, there are 2 out today. This one, the Full Proof 1792, and then he's got, is it a toasted barrel? It's a single barrel pick of Elijah Craig, and I think it's barrel proof as well. I bought a little bit of whiskey today, and that one was a little more expensive. This one's by no means cheap, but and it's also by no means weak, 62.5%. And last year, Ryan's 1792 Full Proof was just a banger for me. So this is more like a treat. I just opened it. I can't rate it. I can talk about it with you guys, but I can't tell you anything about it except for what we're about to do. This one I wrestled with for months. This just opened. So this 1792 Ryan Engen on the nose. And that, it's a lot of proof, what I'm about to say, but I've got brown sugar, cinnamon, sweet oak. Yeah, a lot more cooked brown sugar and cinnamon. Well, just in comparison, maybe this helped me open this up, because now there is some nice sweet sugars in here. There is some toffees that I didn't talk about. Right on. All it took was my nose to be like, hey, pay attention with this 62.5. But this is rich. I'm looking forward to the palate. Hope you got something nice. Cheers. I was talking to someone at Wine and Beyond, actually, saying, I don't know Ryan well enough. We've chatted a little bit through socials and whatnot, but I find Ryan's picks, maybe it's just my palate, and now it's in my mind, to really be oaky. And the palate of this one has a lot of backing charred oak in it for me. Those sweeter brown sugars, those cooked toffees that I was getting in the nose, which is just like so rich, dry up a bit in the palate. And I'm getting a lot of oak. I better try another sip. Cheers. Another reason why I chose 1792 is that even though I don't know its mash bill, I think it's high rye. So it's like 15 to 20%, maybe even 25 as much as this. It's got lots more rye spicing, and now it's got that grassy, drier rye spicing, rye bread, peppering. So combined with the more char, more oak, all the extra proof on here, and the black pepper rye, this is a hug, bracing, bold bourbon, which is what I wanted. That's pretty much how I would describe the last 1792. I'm only a couple of sips in. I can't tell you really the depth of quality here or what you're going to get out of it, except that I would say this is big, it's hot, it's bold, it's spicy, and it's got lots of dry oak. At least for my palate, it sure says that. And I'm liking it. That was a good dram to open up the new Nook. Clearly, I got work to do. Lights and I got the sound is probably bouncing weird. And then I also got to get my barrel head up. I really do. But I appreciate you guys dropping in and staying with me now to the end and checking out. You know, would I recommend this? It's not my favorite. No. Would I say this? If you like the flavors I mentioned, absolutely. That's not going to sit on the shelf forever. That's a good one. Thanks. You guys take care.